can see, I am in my Star Wars era, because it is May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. You probably don't know this, but I am a massive Anakin Skywalker fan. Loved him from the beginning when I first saw Phantom Menace in the cinema, and the whole kind of story arc of being the chosen one but then turning into the bad guy is something we don't see very often, and I really enjoyed it. Hayden Christensen got too much hate for the prequels. I love him, he's fantastic, and fuck everyone who thinks he isn't. I'm on Anakin Skywalker's side, okay? And you may say, what about the murders? And I say, what murders? Anyway, so I thought for the 4th of May I would read prequel books. So according to the timeline, this is the order of the books that I'm going to read. So the first one is Master and Apprentice by Claudia Gray. This one is set before Phantom Menace, I believe, and it follows Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan. Look at that, I'm so excited. So move on to E.K. Johnston's series, book number 1, Queen's Peril. This is Padme, so it's set before and during Phantom Menace, and it's kind of Padme's journey to becoming queen, and then obviously what happens and goes down in Phantom Menace. So there's that, and then I will read Phantom Menace in my prequels book. I've already tabbed, I'm already ready. Look at him. Then we go back to E.K. Johnston's series and we read Queen's Shadow. This, I believe, is, yes, it's set in between. So it's kind of Padme coming down from being the queen and turning into a senator, and kind of the shit that goes down for her. So this is while Padme is becoming senator and learning all the ways, one of her handmaidens, I believe Sabe, goes off to try and help the people on Tatooine, because the slavery there is a situation that's close to Padme's heart, obviously because of her dealings with Anakin and his mother. So she's trying to fix the slavery in Tatooine. So there's that one. And then we move on to Attack of the Clones, my favourite Star Wars movie. And then after Attack of the Clones, we move on to E.K. Johnston's last book in the trilogy, Queen's Hope. And this one is, I believe, yeah, Sabe is doing her thing in Tatooine still, but Padme has to go on a mission, and she recalls Sabe to come help her. Not a lot that we're told on the back about what happens, because obviously it's the last in the trilogy and we don't want to spoil ourselves, so there's that. And then we read Brotherhood by Chen, and this is during the Attack of the Clones with Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan, and it's kind of what they're kind of not only dealing with fighting during the Clone Wars, but also Anakin dealing with the fact that, you know, he wants to be a proper Jedi Knight and have a place on the council, and Obi-Wan obviously trying to deal with becoming a master and teaching Anakin when Anakin is quite hard to teach. He's a little bit of a bitch. He's a little bit of a whiny bitch, but he's our whiny bitch. So Brotherhood, and then we read Revenge of the Sith, the last book in the prequel series. I may go on, if I have time, to read the graphic novels, because my brother has the compendiums downstairs of Darth Vader. I may go on to that, or I may just binge Obi-Wan the Kenobi show again, and then Ahsoka. Anything that has Anakin Skywalker. This is my reading vlog for May the 4th, and May the 4th be with you and with all of us. So, finished the first book, Master and Apprentice. I gave this 3 stars because whilst it was very well written, the plot was fun, I didn't like how within the chapters our point of view changed quite a bit, and it was kind of hard to keep up with. And also I'm very new to the whole kind of backstory of Star Wars and all the lore and everything, so it was very prophecy heavy. Some of the prophecies I understood, like there was 3 prophecies on this page. The first one is, she who will be born to darkness will give birth to darkness, and that's clearly Shmi, born to darkness. She's born a slave, and then she gives birth to darkness, which is Anakin Skywalker. When the Kyber that is not Kyber shines forth, the time of the prophecy will be at hand. That has everything to do with the plot of this book. And then there is, when the righteous lose the light, evil once dead shall return. And I'm thinking, when the righteous lose the light, that's when Anakin is losing his faith in the Jedi, and that's when he becomes a Sith Lord, and the Sith take over and the Empire rises. That's my thinking of those prophecies. But then there's the Chosen One prophecy that it makes kind of sense, but I'll read it. Okay, so there's only through sacrifice of many Jedi will the Order cleanse the sin done to the Nameless. Who are the Nameless? Then the danger of the past is not past, but sleeps in an egg. When the egg cracks, it will threaten the galaxy entire. What egg? What are you talking about? If anyone knows or has any thoughts to that, I'd love to know. And then it says, when the Force itself sickens, past and future must split and combine. Like a cake? I don't know. A chosen one will come, born of no father, and through him will ultimate balance in the Force be restored. Anakin Skywalker. We all know the chosen one. But the rest of it was weird. That plot, that prophecy. But yeah, it was a standard. It was good. It was okay. Yeah, 3 stars. I mean, it was okay. My brother said that I only gave it 3 stars because Anakin Skywalker wasn't in it, and that's not true. How dare you? It was interesting to see Dooku pop up in Qui-Gon's memories of the past of him learning to be a Jedi, so that was interesting. And to see Obi-Wan as a baby. He's only 17 in this. It's just a little baby. Yeah. So that's one done.
Anakin. Anakin's gone. I am what remains. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Anakin. For all of it. I am not your failure, Obi-Wan. You didn't kill Anakin Skywalker. I did. The same way, I will destroy you. Then my friend is truly dead. Goodbye, Darth.
Okay, besties. We did it. Oh, this was so much better than Master and Apprentice. Just seeing Padme's life and the whole handmaids thing, fascinating. And it starts off like there's the first chapter, or like prologue, prelude, whatever you want to call it, is about Padme when she's waiting for the voting for the election for her to become queen. And then I was like, loving it, you know. We have, obviously, it's kind of got parts of Phantom Menace in there. So we see Anakin Skywalker for a bit. We see Darth Maul. The Jedis don't really say anything. So Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan don't really say anything in this. But it was so good. And then just because they wanted me to cry, it ends pretty much like the same, about a girl in a white dress. But this is Leia. Because Padme's starts, the girl in the white dress had her mother's brain and her father's heart and a spark that was entirely her own. And that's Padme, right? And then Leia's, the girl in the white dress, had her mother's brain and her father's heart. So I'm 4 stars, and I'm so excited to read E.K. Johnston's other 2. But we move on now to the big boy, to the chunky one. We are now on to Phantom Menace, which is quite a chunk, possibly the same length, if not a little bit less than the Padme book. So I would say about 200 pages, 282. But we're moving on to the big boy. I'm so excited to crack this spine. There's just something about a book that looks loved and worn and read. Like, look at my Padme's book now. Look at the state of this. Look at that spine. And I love it. Love it. So yeah. Phantom Menace. Okay. First chunk has been read. So Phantom Menace is done. Read it. I got some thoughts. Because obviously this is a novelization of the movie, and it's far more detailed, and it's got scenes in it that weren't in the movie and stuff like that. So, you know, I mean, what interests me is Padme talking to Shmi when they're on Shmi. Anakin's mom. And like the whole slavery situation on Tatooine really affects her, so much so that I believe that's the point of this book, which is my next book. And that was really interesting to see that kind of dynamic about how she's, you know, she's a queen and she's been, you know, she's a politician, but she's still very young and she doesn't know a lot about the galaxy. So that was interesting. The whole dynamic between Anakin and Padme. I mean, if I was Padme, I know right off the bat they have like a connection and everything, but if I was Padme, that little boy is a fucking freak. Like, you've just met him and he goes, I'm gonna marry you one day. Excuse me, you're 9. Do you want to fuck off? And then after he finds out that Padme is the queen, and you know the handmaids have been doing this like double cross, there's this quote, and it says he wasn't sure how he felt about her now, knowing she wasn't just a girl but a queen, and stuff like that. And I was like, well, that's the whole relationship really. He kind of puts her on a pedestal in his mind, and then when she does something human, or she does something that he didn't expect her to, he's like, what the... No, you're not allowed to do that. You're Padme, and you're meant to do this, and you're meant to stay here in this box where I've put you in my mind. And it's just a very toxic relationship. I mean, but then, you know, we also see this other side to Anakin, even from the start, when he rescues that Tusken Raider. I mean, we all know what he does to the Tusken Raiders after in the second one, but he saved one in this one. But he's like, there's this quote that I highlighted: he was young and brave at heart, and he had lived his life pretty much on his own terms, because to live it any other way it would have broken him long ago. It hadn't been easy doing so, especially as a slave. He's just a baby. How can you, like, imagine being born into slavery? That's crazy. I mean, it happens even nowadays, but like, I cannot fathom what he's been through. Absolutely mental. And his biggest weakness, I think, is like he's always trying to look after his loved ones. I mean, that's what gets him. That's how the dark side crawl into that hole. And it's so sad on this at Qui-Gon's funeral. There's this quote that says, you know, because he's with Obi-Wan and Padme, and it says, one day each of them would play a part in his life that would change him forever. He could sense that, but for now, when it mattered most, he felt all alone. And he's gonna be alone his whole life, especially when he's Darth Vader. And this pissy whiny bitch, I feel sorry for him. He's my favourite character. I think because he's so nuanced, because he's a little shit, but at the same time you're like, oh dude, you never had a fucking chance. Never had a chance. Ay. But yeah, we're now on to Queen's Shadow, the second in the trilogy. So here we go. Yeah. Okay. We have finished Queen's Shadow. The feels were happening in this. Because the last chapter is like Padme's funeral. It's like a flash forward, and we see Sabe determined to work out why everything happened. Why is everyone dead? Why did Padme just die? And now there's an empire, and Palpatine's in charge, and all. Yeah, so Sabe's on a mission. But that was like the last chapter. It's very interesting. Basically, Padme starting her work as a senator, and all the politics and nonsense, and of course Clovis pops up, fucking prick. As soon as I saw his name, I was like, oh, gross. And then of course he tries to kiss her, and then she's like, no, N-O. That is a full sentence, my friend. I fucking hate Clovis. But yeah, the next one, Queen's Hope, I think is gonna make me really, really sad. Padme is just such a fantastic, nuanced character, and I feel like obviously the movies were about Anakin. He is the chosen one, but I just wish we had more Padme. I mean, in the last film, she's just an incubator at that point. That's all. She's just like, oh baby, I'm having a baby, which is absolutely fine, but like, I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, we're now back to this chunk, and we're doing Attack of the Clones. So I think it's going to be, it might be the same size as Phantom, but I think Revenge is going to be the biggest one. But yeah, Attack of the Clones, let's go. I ran out of green tabs, but Attack of the Clones has been read. Yep, where is it? I only have this left in this book. The spine be spining. But next is Queen's Hope, then Brotherhood, then Revenge. So I'm going to put the big one down. But I liked the extra scenes with Anakin's mum, especially with Owen, because like they have that connection, and you realise that Owen has lost two mums. And then, you know, it's just so, Star Wars is so traumatic, I swear. And the whole seeing the clones on Camino through Obi-Wan's eyes and like reading his thoughts, that was really good, because it's kind of like, oh, let me find the page. Did I? When Obi-Wan's like checking out the clones, I liked the mention of, we have several hatcheries throughout the city. This is of course the most crucial phase, though with our techniques we expect a survival rate of over 90%. Every so often an entire batch will develop an issue. The Bad Batch, which I haven't watched yet because I'm trying to watch everything in order, although I did watch Kenobi the other day because I needed to. But it says, Obi-Wan stared at the closest embryo, floating contentedly in its fluid, curled and with its little thumb stuck in its mouth. In 10 short years, that tiny creature, that tiny man, would be a soldier, killing, and likely soon enough, killed. It's just so sad. The callousness of it all struck Obi-Wan profoundly. Unit's final product. These were living beings they were talking about. Living, breathing, and thinking. To create clones for such a singular purpose, under such control, even stealing half their childhood for efficiency, assaulted his sense of right and wrong, and the fact that a Jedi Master had begun all of this was almost too much to digest. That's also a point I want to kind of... Who the fuck is Master Cypher? I've always wondered this. And I would like to go a deep dive into... I might do like the Star Wars wiki or something. Because I also want to look up Darth Plagueis. Because like, who the fuck was he as well? Like... I don't like when they mention people that you don't know. And they have such significance in the plot, but they don't explain who these people are. And I'm like, who the fuck? I don't know this person. Explain. So I'm going to have to Google. And Stephen at work said there is a Darth Plagueis book set before Phantom Menace. So I might have to hunt that down and read that. But it doesn't explain Cypher. Anyway, we move on to Queen's Hope. So this is, they've just got married. Beautiful. During the Clone Wars, Sabe's gone back to Tatooine. But then Padme's like, you need to come back, babes. There's a very important mission that Padme needs to go on, and Sabe's gonna kind of do the old switcheroo with her. So this is going to be good. I'm loving these ones, especially with Padme's point of view. Look at that dress. Oh. So yeah, this is the next one, and they're such quick reads. I mean, look at that, big writing, love it. So yeah, Queen's Hope. Hello. Finished Queen's Hope. Didn't like it as much as the other two. I will say, I think the second one, Queen's Shadow. Yes, Queen's Shadow was the best out of the trilogy. This one felt more of a filler, kind of like it wasn't necessary. But my theory, I think, was correct, and that Sabe was in love with Padme. I am right, because Sabe finds out that Padme married Anakin, and she says this line, "I always knew she wouldn't pick me. I just thought she would pick more like a planet or a species." But no, she picked the angstiest Jedi she could find. So we are now on to Brotherhood by Chen. I have high hopes for this one, very high hopes, because I realise it's all about that business that doesn't count that happened on Cater Nemoida. We finally find out what Obi-Wan was going on about. So yes, now we're on to Brotherhood. Finito. I loved this. I thought it was really good. I will say that it got kind of boring in the middle, but then it picked up again at the end. We see the relationship between Anakin and Obi-Wan change, because at the start of this, Anakin becomes a Jedi Knight and no longer Obi-Wan's Padawan. So they're kind of equal, Jedi-wise, kind of. Obi-Wan witnesses Anakin and Padme interacting, not romantically, just like in public, and he's like, something's going on here, you guys are being fishy. So they're being very obvious, and we see Ventress plays a big role in this, so that was really interesting to see, because I've only ever seen her in the Clone Wars cartoon show, which I have restarted because I think I didn't skip any, but they were definitely on telly and I wasn't paying attention. So I thought, let's start again from the beginning. Let's concentrate and take this seriously. So yeah, so in the end, 4 stars, very solid read. I would recommend reading it. I did enjoy it. So now we are on to the last book. Finally. The last book, Return of the Sith. Revenge of the Sith. I don't know what I'm talking about. Sorry, I'm drunk on ramen. It's Revenge of the Sith. So, and I need to find some green tabs to finish tabbing Attack of the Clones, because I ran out. But yeah, this, I anticipate being completely crushed emotionally and possibly physically by this book. I mean, it's heavy. This is 1,008 pages. But yeah, definitely this is gonna fuck me up. Let's go. Okay. I finished it. Finished it last night, late into the night. Cried like a baby. this. I mean, I love how it was written, because it was like, when it opened, it was like, this is Obi-Wan Kenobi, and then it was like, you know, inside he still feels like a Padawan and stuff like that, and this is Anakin Skywalker, he's the best Jedi of his generation, of any generation. This is General Grievous, and it's just like, I really liked that. I thought it was beautiful, and it really honed in on how strong a partnership Obi-Wan and Anakin had. But my God, when you read this book, it comes like the Anakin's fall into the Sith is just, it's not sudden, because you can see how the dark Sidious has been working for so long. All these pieces are into place, and it's like boom, 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 boom. But with Anakin, it's like, he's not sleeping. He's, you know, he's worried, and his anger is building against everything. And then you've got Palpatine in his ear going, oh, you can't trust they want you to spy on me, don't they? And he's like, how the fuck do you know? And he's like, because, you know, deep inside it's because that's what he wants them to do. Like, everyone's playing into his hands, and it's just, it like the whole kind of Order 66 and the fall of the Republic, and, you know, the Jedi Temple, it feels like, in the book, it feels like it happens in like within hours. He's Darth Vader, boom, he goes, kills the Jedi, boom, he's gone to Mustafar, boom, him and Obi-Wan fight. And it's just like, you blink, and then all of a sudden, like, this must be how Anakin felt. Like, he blinks, and then all of a sudden, like, fuck, he's fucked his life up royally. And, you know, he believes that Padme's dead, that, well, she is, but like, he believes that he killed Padme, and he tries to kill Palpatine, who, ever since the attack with Mace Windu, and his face changed, Anakin's like, he's not Palpatine anymore, this is his dark shadow, this is the shadow. So like, when you've got Anakin's point of view, he calls him the shadow. So and when he realizes that it wasn't Darth Vader, or like they keep going on about the dragon that's inside him, and like, his anger is the dragon and everything, and it wasn't, there was no dragon, there was no Vader, there was no Vader, that there was only you, only Anakin Skywalker, it was all you. And it's like, he's like, oh my God, what have I done? And it's like, boom, you killed Padme, you killed her, because finally, when you could have saved her, when you could have gone away with her, when you could have been thinking about her, you were thinking about yourself. It is in this blazing moment that you finally understand the trap of the dark side, the final cruelty of the Sith, because now yourself is all you will ever have. And, you know, that's when he kind of screams, and he like comes off of the machine, and everything breaks around him in the movie, and it says, you are more than machine, you are like a painter gone blind, a composer gone deaf. You can remember where the power was, but the power you can touch is only a memory. And so with all your world-destroying fury, it is only droids around you that implode, and equipment, and the table on which you were strapped. And in the end, you cannot touch the shadow. In the end, you do not even want to. In the end, the shadow is all you have left. Because the shadow understands you, the shadow forgives you, the shadow gathers you onto yourself, and with your furnace heart, you burn in your own flame. This is how it feels to be Anakin Skywalker forever. And it's like, and then, well, I started crying when C-3PO was talking to R2 before Anakin goes off to Mustafar, And C-3PO is like, I don't understand what's going on. And then R2 goes, I don't understand either. Anakin doesn't talk to me anymore. And I was just like, oh no. I mean, but so sad. And then the description of Padme's funeral killed me. About how her fingers forever clasping a snippet of Japor, one that had been carved long ago by the hand of a 9-year-old boy from an obscure desert planet in the far outer rim. Just fuck me up, why don't you? But yeah, this entire book, 5 stars. It was absolutely fantastic. So yeah, that was a journey. I look forward to reading the Darth Vader graphic novels, and I think maybe next year I'll read the original trilogy in book form, and maybe I'll save a couple of like High Republic books for then as well. So yeah, but what a ride, what a ride. Thank you for watching, hopefully till the end, and I hope you have a fabulous day, and may the force be with you.